My name is Rhapsody and welcome back to Gumbuckle Mine. Gumbuckle Mine, my apologies. Here, in shadows over Loathing. Alrighty then. Let's get to it, shall we? By the by, apologies about the small absence there. I have just returned from a dreamy lakeside retreat myself. I felt like I should really method act this series, so as soon as I got into this location, I organized a Bucks party. Or, I didn't organize the Bucks party, actually. Hang on, that was gonna work for the format of the joke, but people do organize those things. Bucks party, stag do, bachelor party, etc. Friend of mine is getting married. And we went to a lake to hang out and play beach volleyball. It was a lovely time. All of my muscles hurt, every single one. I got a rusty cola can from that one though, which is new dialogue. Hello, rusty cola can. This can of cola is so old and rusty you can't even tell whether it's red or blue. Or maybe some kind of horrible brown cola you've never heard of before. Okay. Wait, hang on. I wasn't meaning to go here. I was meaning to go... That is right here. Oh hey, that's your past self over there. Here's your chance to hand back that crate of old bandages. But wait a second. It occurs to you you haven't got the crate of bandages from Charles yet. The crate you have now is the one the future one gave you, and they said they used those. Won't giving up these bandages screw up the timeline? I'm gonna not do it. Yeah, it's probably safer not to improvise with stuff like this. Gotta remember you get that crate to Charles though. Speaking of things that we need to remember, hey, there we are. Hello, this shelf is labeled ineffective pesticides. But if I go into the past, and thank you to the comments who pointed this out helpfully, the shelf is laden with dangerous pesticides that you're pretty sure were banned years ago. Among them you see a mason jar filled with an oily brown liquid. It has a handwritten label that says, termite poison. How much for this jar of termite poison? That'll be 22 meat. I'll take it. You buy the pesticide and place it very carefully in your sack. 22 meat and you get the the item, Thermoblast termite spray rather. A spray canister filled with chemicals that history demonstrated to be just as dangerous to humans as it is to termites. Mind you don't get any of that on your skin, and don't breathe in the fumes, and don't pour it down any drains or rivers or get it in the groundwater, and if the jar starts to melt, get a fresh jar straight away. Thanks? I will. I don't think I'm gonna have time to need that because we're on our way back to Gumbuckle Mine. There we go. In a thick, overgrown, and essentially sunless part of the woods, you happen across two large and burly vampires. They seem pretty ticked off, they're growling menacingly, shoving each other around and so forth. Some kind of spooky territory dispute? Or maybe one of them drank a Taurus that the other one was saving for a special occasion. The nature of their argument is unclear. What is clear is that those guys are very strong, and you'd better be sure of yourself if you plan to do anything about it before they notice you. I break it up with my 6 muscles. Alright, you knuckleheads, break it up! You walk into between the two vampires and shove them away from Hay. What the? Hey! Don't give me any more of your lip. We run a nice establishment here. You two want to fight? You can do it someplace else. Go on, get out of here! The two vampires shuffle away, muttering. One of them angrily throws his hat on the ground. Hell yeah! We get a vampire skull cap, which is a new hat. That's 30 gold on the pier right there. 30 gold, 30 meat, excuse me. Some vampires have intimidating widow's peaks, but those that don't wear these hats to make it look like they have one. And it's a hat for +1 muscle. That is a slot that I do not have muscular equipment in, typically. The two vampires shuffle away, muttering, and of course I got 8 experience. And stay out! Alright, Gumbuckle Mine. I need to go gumbuckle back in time to kill these termites before they collapse the mine. Granting us access to the geode. This support beam is lousy with termites. I hose it down with chemicals. Oi! Yeah, okay, it worked out. I wonder if there's anything else I can spray that on, or if my quest item is already gone. It is gone. Looks like it was consumed. Alright. And if I could turn back time, Oh look, I found a way. Let's go down to the bottom of Gumbuckle Mine and see what lies on the other side. It's one of those fancy mining helmets on this table. I grab it. What was the mine's is now yours. A mining hat. This helmet is heavy, but it has a light. +2 physical armor, I like that. An extremely enthusiastic rat has chewed a hole in this solidly locked steel cabinet. I reach in. You root around in the cabinet, you manage to get one stick of dynamite within arm's reach. A 22-year-old stick of dynamite. This is a 22-year-old stick of dynamite. You're lucky you found this instead of the 44-year-old stick. They're really dangerous when they're that old. Don't worry, this is only a quarter as dangerous as that at this point. Okay, right, that's where the dynamite goes. Got it, right. It's a hugely weird spherical rock and it's got a hole drilled in it. I stick the dynamite in it and then I light it up with a match. I quiver in the corner. You've seen some disappointing explosions in your life, but this one really failed to even make a dent in the cake. The rock must be made of tougher stuff than a relatively fresh stick of dynamite can handle. I see. I have to age the dynamite? Okay, wait, how do I age the dynamite? Okay. Let's go to the mine in the past and put the dynamite already in the geode at that time, then come back to the future where it is 44 years old. Presumably. Yeah, dynamite storage is extremely locked at this point. Hey, there we go, I stick the dynamite in. And then I don't light that. Yeah, I'd have to do the whole loop again if I did that. I think I got this one correct. And, right, of course, we don't know when we are. Alright, Gumbuckle Mine. Are you ready for a mine like this? I guess it is entirely possible that the dynamite just disappeared over the period of time. It did not! I light it! This is an extremely old stick of dynamite in a hole in this thing. It's practically squirting nitroglycerin. I light it. Boom. You've blown the geode open, exposing a huge variety of crystals. You should go let Crystal know. Will do. You know, I think I could use a little bit more. I don't need any more dynamite right now, apparently says the screen. I can think of at least 3 uses for dynamite off the top of my head right now. Number 1? Good excuse to get away from a party. Dynamite goes off outside and you rush out. Get lost amidst the chaos as everyone else is trying to figure out what blew up. And presumably there are 2 other uses for dynamite as well. Crystal's store is just across the road though, so I'm gonna check the meat return slot and buy myself a soda before I move on. Hey, Crystal. It's easy to remember Crystal's name because that's the thing she doesn't sell. I talked to her.
How's that book of mine? Break off anything expensive?
Yeah, in fact.
You did? Well, that's just great. Hang on 1 minute.
She leaves and comes back in an hour with 2 big armloads of crystals.
You just give me a couple of hours and I'll give you a fully functional crystal shop now, okay?
What should I do in the meantime?
Got some old magazines in here somewhere. Oh yeah, here they are.
I read those old magazines for a couple of hours. You spend a while reading. It's mostly op-ed pieces about political scandals from 20 years ago, but you manage to learn a thing or 2. I get 20 experience. Crystal eventually taps us on the shoulder and says,
all set now. Don't suppose you want to make a purchase?
You know, this magazine's fascinating. Say, did you hear about those sketchy land grants up in Oregon?
I remember my grandparents talking about it.
Boy, that Mitchell, what a sneaky snake.
Yeah. Anyway, got you a little something to say thanks. When I was going through the crystals, I found a small one that I can't really sell for that much. And I just thought of you.
Thanks. She gives us a twinkling crystal statuette. It's a crystal item. Sorry, it is a quest item, rather. Also a crystal item, I imagine. You remember the very idea of this crystal when it was no more than a twinkle in Crystal's eye.
Thanks. What else have you got in stock?
Cracked crystal orb deal your muscle in physical damage.
Ooh, okay, some accessories. I like them.
So accessories of each different resistance type. Crystal chili pepper necklace, heart necklace, pickle necklace, skull necklace, and snowflake necklace for hot, sleaze, stench, spooky, and cold armor across them. A crystal and red pepper. You don't ever want to feel like you would if you lost it. A crystal sculpture of a purple heart. Any similarity to the military award is purely coincidental. A fragrant crystalline pickle on a simple silver chain. It's elegance incarnate and the funniest shit I've ever seen. A skull carved from a piece of grey quartz. By the power of this grey skull, you feel totally fearless. And a regular snowflake is also in a crystal, but this one is much larger rather. You'd hate to be caught in the crystal gale that blew this thing in. Heal the entire body for your mysticality, heal yourself twice for your mysticality. I mean, yeah, these all seem useful. Do I want them though? I do kind of want every unique item as the thing, so I am just gonna buy all of the necklaces. And then I don't have enough to do anything else, so I won't. Next thing simple. A shelf laden with beautiful crystals. Thanks to you. And they all say that. That's what they all say. Okay. Now. I seem to recall as well. In a ditch next to a dirt road you've been walking down, you spy a pile of coal mine tailings. It must have fallen off a truck or something. You remember your history of rocks professor telling you that you could extract a little bit of a hair grease from this stuff if you wanted to put some elbow grease into it. Get my stylish gel and move on to the hardware store where we have the ability to go back in time and then tell the proprietor to install time travel locations elsewhere. Yeah, why don't you put in a cave full of mushrooms for us, buddy? The mushroom cave? That's an odd choice. No one goes mushroom picking there anymore to counting monsters. Monsters? Well, that's the rumor. You ask me, someone just ate the wrong kind of mushroom, got a bad case of the giblies. Anyway, I'll get a pit dug tomorrow and the outhouse finished the day after. Anything else I can do for you? Nope. That'll be grand, buddy. That'll do just fine. Also, there's another location there that is demanding revisit as well, the pet store. Which was this that I'd sent you to? The cave, of course. We should probably come back there as well in case we, at any point, find another location that may also be able to do that. Better not. Dealt with that same event before. That was the bandages. There's our time travel. Oh, although it really looks like I could just pull a couple of these bad boys off. Here we go. Ah, right, of course, they're all probably going to be immune to poison. There's a sax of violence across the entire party. I mean, yeah, looks like I'm probably going to survive, right? Right. Get him, Molly! Sax of violence goes off in a second. There we go. Oh man, I really wish I had an actual AoE strike that I could do as well. Boy. I mean, realistically, I need to stop the Mush Mother from acting. Also, taking less damage myself would be really helpful. No, I didn't really get to stop the Mush Mother from doing much of anything, but at least they didn't give everyone on the team maximum HP again, which is what they did last time, and let me tell you, that was problematic. Did not make things easy for me. The rest of it did, though. You've reduced the amount of fungus in the mountain by a small amount. There's still a lot of fungus remaining. I get a Mushman's Spear, the melee weapon. Like the story of its acquisition, this spear is painful and long, and nobody at the coffee shop is interested in it. And you get an item, the Mushroom Steak for the muscle. I need stronger AoE if I'm going to continue fighting there. So I'm not going to continue fighting there, despite the amount of experience it gives us. By the by, we got a lot of experience over the course of this episode already, so 251 unspent experience. Lapidary empathy, 2 times the material gained from gathering. Also rhythmic precision, +1 moxie and +3 to ranged weapon attacks. Pretty good. Oh, wow. +1 to AP regeneration. Do I have +1 to maximum AP anywhere? I do not. If I could have slightly more AP. +1 to maximum AP, that's probably the basic though. I wonder if that might just let me cast another ability in the round, which is... I mean, yeah, but I don't have another AoE that I can cast, is really what I'm looking for at this point in time. Really, I guess what I want is just as many stats as I can get, so I'm gonna get Virtuosity for 150 here. Mysticality and a maximum AP, and I'll get myself a Mysticality as well as some 3 spooky armor. Leaves me with 26 experience left to go. Let's traverse back in time to the Mushroom Mountain when it was young, but a hole. Non-violence appears to be a non-option here. That temporal anomaly does not look inviting at all. Violence, then. And I find... Oh! Whoa, yeah, I guess Molly doesn't want to time travel, that makes sense. Shouldn't have assumed. Good damage across the board. As soon as we get back to my turn, which we barely made it to, you're done. We got Fragrant Spores, a Mushroom Spear, and a Mushroom Stake, as well as Grigovich getting 1 maximum HP stronger. You taught those mushrooms a lesson, you're certain they never really had the capacity to remember or forget. 8 experience for the job. More malevolent moving mushroom men I massacre. The weapon attack is the Mushman Splode Spore at the front. It's just sitting there. When it's destroyed, it'll poison my entire team for 7, so it's definitely the final thing I'm going to want to deal with on the field. Mushman Feeder certainly seems like a priority. Oh no, Mush Mother. Aim that backline first. I don't want too many summons coming down this field. Good work. No more movement from that character allowed. Let's go for a Orchestra Strike. And just 1 more strike against the top line, a little bit of AoE, that'll get the bleed, poison, all of it's good. You've once again asserted the superiority of mammals over mushrooms. They get a mushroom cap and 7 experience, as well as a fragrant spore. The third and final group of hostile fungi, I knocked the spores directly out of them. Look at them coming at me. I've had practice, thank you. I have fought so many mushrooms. It's truly wild. There we go. Take out the Mush Mother immediately as well. Prevent any healing to these in the front line that otherwise are going to die easily. Never mind. They got maximum HP from another Mushroom Feeder. Boy. And I guess I do just kind of want to take characters off the field. You know what? You know, those 2 targets might have been the 2 least important targets to fight those. Just gonna let you know that. Alright. Okay, well, they do take poison damage before their turn, so maybe that was actually good. There we go. You've reduced the number of ambulatory mushrooms in this cave to 0. 0 is the proper number. Based on its unnatural aura and appearance, you'd say this is the source of bad mushroom magic. I could destroy it, but whoever misplaced this axe apparently did not know that trees do not generally grow in caves. I grabbed the axe regardless. It's a wood-cutting axe. The axe is very shiny and very sharp. It definitely hasn't been left in a dank cave for decades. So we can get the other version of it if we want. Oh no, I picked it up already. Damn it! if I left it there, it would have been mushy in real time, right? It would have been all worn down and a different type of weapon. I destroy this mushroom. There we go. Very simple. Absolutely nothing to it. Best avoid the void. I will take the advice readily as we make our way back out of the cave and see what this has done to Mushroom Mountain. Much more inviting, certainly. Ooh, these fungi are all glowy. I wonder if that's a hint to look at them in a different time, maybe? Yeah. I swear that axe would still be there. Or maybe I need some other way to interact with those fungi in the future? This feels unresolved. Let's go back to the hardware store. You're walking through the woods around... Ah! There's a huge spider! It just jumps out of nowhere and aims its butt right at your face and shoots a huge glob of web at you! Time slows down around you as the horrible sticky wad sails through the air directly at the part of your head where you keep all of your most important sensory organs. Sorry, I guess that was a weird way to phrase that. I couldn't think of a good synonym for face. I dodge out of the way with 4 Moxie. You duck and roll out of the path of the incoming goop and just keep on rolling until you're completely part out of the woods. You get 8 experience and head over to the hardware store. Sorry, buddy, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to your younger self. There we go. This guy looks like he could install an outhouse for me at the pet store. Pet store? Oh, you must mean the bait shop. Love that sense of humor you got. Pet worms! Alrighty, I'll get the pit dug tomorrow and have the outhouse finished the day after. Anything else I can do for you? Nope. All good, buddy. Thank you and your marvelous many voices for your assistance over the course of this. It's time to go to the pet store and see what used to be up there. Off the side of the dirt road you're walking down, you see a pile of greasy rocks. A voice in your head tells you to squeeze them. The voice is the voice of your history of rocks professor, who taught you a greasy rock squeezing technique. I squeeze it for some sorted grease. A box of bees. Alright, it's Greta.
Hi, Greta. What are you selling?
I've forgotten everyone's voice over the course of the holiday. Ah!
Unfortunately, I'm totally out of pets. I guess that's fortunate for the pets, though. I guess I have all the pets I need right now.
Which ones are hard to find?
Oh, there we go.
Grady's live bait. Fence doesn't look well for wear. This barrel is sealed, but from the smell you would say it's full of decaying shellfish? This barrel is full of dirt, but you're sure there's something nasty hiding in it. This one is full of pickles, probably for catching those fish that like eating pickles. A barrel of miscellaneous useful entrails. A barrel of wriggling slimy grubs. And a barrel of chum. You don't want to be pals with it. Catch your next meal today. Hey, Grady.
Hello there. Hello, and welcome to Grady's Live Bait. I'm Grady, and this is...
He points in various directions.
My bait shop.
Grady smiles. Nice to meet you, Grady. Grady smiles. Anything you need help with, by chance?
Well, I'm always looking for people to dig up nightcrawlers for me.
What are nightcrawlers? He reaches under the counter and pulls out a handful of wriggling worms, which he then waves in your face. Ugh, worms! You will never forget that smell.
Interested in doing some worm hunting?
Sure, I'll get you some of those gross worms.
Good idea. Dig up, let's call it 5. 5 good-sized nightcrawlers, and that'll make it worth your while. Here, you'll need this.
Got an item and a shovel. How will I know where to dig?
Just follow your nose. You want another sniff to refresh your memory?
He starts to reach under the counter again. No, I got it. I'll be back when I have your worms. Hey, buddy. Can I see what's for sale?
Sure, can I interest you in some minnows?
Minnows?
Yep, they wriggle quite They wriggle quite vigorously. I was about to say vicariously, but that would not make sense, I assure you. Irresistible to hungry fish.
No, I don't want any minnows.
Well, that's all right then. Maybe you'd like to look at our grasshoppers then.
No, I don't think so.
No grasshoppers? Gotcha. What about a nice handful of grubs, plump and juicy?
Oh, gross, no.
Okay, then how about some leeches, chock full of blood?
This is awful.
Well, if none of those strikes your fancy, maybe you're not the kind in the market for any live bait.
I think you're right.
Hey, how's that worm hunting going?
Grady smiles. I take my leave.
Wait, hang on.
There's a mousetrap set here, which I disarm. You disarm the mousetrap. Grady frowns.
Hey, what's the big idea?
It seemed cruel. Grady frowns. He walks over, resets the mousetrap, frowns again, and goes back behind the counter. Okay, hang on. I undo it with 5 moxie. Click tee hee hee. The mousetrap is disarmed, and Grady has no idea. Cool. Nothing else it looks like I need to do here for the moment. Time be. Aye, this patch of ground. I gotta tell you, it smells like nightcrawlers, which I dig up. You dig up the terrible creature and shove it in your pocket. You get a plump nightcrawler. Few things have as big a delta between how cool the thing is and how cool the name is than the nightcrawler. That also counts for Kurt. The cave. Seems like we'd find maybe some nightcrawlers in there, maybe even in the past. Oh, actually, hang on, we can't go to the past right now. I better not give them all of my bandages at the moment. I mean, I can go in there at the moment. Let's see. Any nightcrawlers here at this time? I guess I want to see if I can get nightcrawlers without sending the time travel device to a different location, as much as is possible. You wander a bit off of the main path and stroll along among the trees for a bit. It's nice to get out in nature, at least until you walk into an invisible spiderweb and get all tangled in your hair. While flailing around, disgusted, trying to get it off you, you stumble into a second spiderweb which goes right across your face. Ugh! And that's how, staggering blindly, you got yourself tangled up in a third spiderweb. This one's much larger and stronger, and made to trap prey of more or less your size. The extremely large spider sitting in the corner of the web looks delighted to see you. And inasmuch as a spider can smile, this one's smile has poison dripping off of it. I break free and escape. With a yell of power and or terror, you yank yourself free of the webs and run away, leaving behind an annoyed and disappointed spider. Alright, there's gotta be some diggery I can get up to over here, right? In the cemetery, maybe? No, is the answer to that one, just in case you were wondering. Yeah, I guess, the shovel did already get a lot of action over in that area. Maybe this makes sense. Hey, fairy lair though. A gaggle of Boy Scouts around a campfire plead with you for a scary story. For their scoutmaster, as they say, has proven frightfully unterrifying. I scare them silly. Yeah, all the boys are crying now. You get 6 experience and move along. Alright. Any nightcrawlers out here? You have to tell me. Legally, you have to tell me if you're a nightcrawler and you're out here. None of the ground smells enough. Beppo's hole, that looks like maybe the right place. You find a decaying nightstand discarded in a ditch. Which is kind of a weird place to find a nightstand. Maybe someone got so mad about stubbing all their toes all the time that they angrily drove it out into the woods and threw it out of their car? I checked the drawer. There's all kinds of useful stuff in here. Junk mail? Comfy hat lining? I continue. Alright, I've already cleared out the spiders from Beppo's hole, but I'm really surprised that there's not a nightcrawler at Beppo's hole. You catch a skittery movement out of the corner of your eye and quickly turn to face, well, nothing as it turns out. You were ready to face a bunch of spiders or something, but there's nothing here but shadows. It must have just been some tree branches moving in the wind or something. Oh, wait, no, it's the shadows. The shadows are literally also spiders, it turns out. I fight them. Oh! Literally! Aha. Oh, that's spooky. I'm actually quite poisoned. Cannot take more than 4 physical damage at a time. Thank the leader's poisoned. Oh boy. Yeah, if we ever get back to my turn, I lose. Oh, never mind. Don't even get that far. Excuse me? I don't even have to live. You won. It must seem a little weird that your regular physical weapons can damage these weird shadow creatures, but hey, why argue with success, Alan? You get 8 experience and Gregovich the snake grows stronger. I knew I'd find one here. You dig up the terrible creature and put it in your pocket. I mean, honestly, I do not need to be back in this room. I'm just doing a little bit of a tour. All right. Solid tour, really saw some stuff. What's in the junkyard? Oh, come on. How am I gonna know what to, try and not smell and try and smell in the dumpster? It's gonna be difficult. A trio of figures in hooded white robes step out of the trees around you. It's hard to tell if the robes contain person-shaped shadow monsters or if they're regular people whose faces are concealed by the shadow of their hoods. Well, not that regular people go around wearing hooded robes very often anyway, and whichever it is, it doesn't seem like they have a good intention. Hey, what's your deal? Well, that clears that right up. I fight them. Shadow Acolyte. I see. I've irritated Mr. Time Travel enough that he's sick the goons on me. Poindexter, I believe his name is. Bye-bye, Shadow Cultist. You won! All the black smoke leaks out of the robes pretty quickly after they're beaten, so you don't get a chance to question them any further. Not that it probably would have been more effective than the first time. I'm just gonna be amazed here in the junkyard if we find any smell lines. Like, I'm just really gonna feel like those should have been omnipresent, you know? Ooh, that was a hobo code that I read. What is junk, really? One man's trash? Look, I can ignore that. Is there any of these tunnels, or rather, are there any of these tunnels, that have failed to have any purpose so far? I mean, I've rung that bell as often as I need to. I can squeeze through in order to get to the other side of this, which is literally just... Wait. Yeah, this is just a couple rooms over. See? That's the bell again. Good. Just making sure that I am thorough here. Hey, now I can see their smell. I couldn't see their smell before, so this is totally legitimate exploration. And you know what? That's it all. I didn't see a single piece. Time to go to the dam. A cheeky squirrel challenges you to a race. It's a difficult course involving several jumps and climbs. I race the fool with my 6 Moxie though. Dang, that squirrel's fast. You cross the finish line first by a hair. Both you and the squirrel collapse by the lake, panting, sweating, laughing, clapping each other on the back. What a great day. This, whatchamacallit is huge. Damn. I smell the flower. It is as good as it looks. Maintenance access, I mean, sure, I can go back in time. And yes, indeed, there is a nightcrawler back in time here. I am increasingly feeling like the other nightcrawlers are also going to be in their back in time respective positions. I don't know why I thought there might be a second nightcrawler here as like a double gag. Let's round up the rest of the nightcrawlers before ending out this episode. Excuse me. Lighthouse. Hey, I can't hand myself my bandages yet. Oh my god, there actually is one at the lighthouse. Wait, that's our 4th. Which means now I'm only missing 1. Is it gonna be back in time in museum? Or is it going to be back in time in the pet store? I'm going to check the crystal store just in case. I don't have any seltzer, dang! I'm going to have to fight these fairies instead. Well, when I say fight, I guess I'm going to have to murder these fairies instead, because it's not really much of a combat right now, right? This is pretty one-sided here. Alright, another little bit of AoE across the party. There you go. Well done. Don't like that one as much, but it turns out well. There we go. All the fairies down, I get 8 experience. Oh, never mind. We don't have to go back in time. We find our final plump nightcrawler, saving us from even having to move our portal. A squirrel chatters angrily at you from a nearby hollow tree, presumably trying to scare you away from its stash. I've seen this one before, so I will gain the 8 meat from its stash and move onwards. It's Greta. Let's talk to her. Wait, no, I don't need to talk to Greta. I need to talk to... Oh, the fronts are hard to find. A fat, happy-looking cat lounges here, which I pet. You give the cat a little scratch behind its ear and it begins to purr loudly.
Aw, she likes you. Her name's Dottie, by the way.
New cat unlocks. You can now pet Dottie to get a boon, which is +1 boxing. Yes, I get Dotties instead of Ishmael's. Very, very good. Let's go back in time and turn in our side quest.
How's the worm hunting going?
I'm done.
Fantastic.
You hand over the worms.
As promised, honest pay for an honest work.
You get 100 meat. You can't help but think that revolting pay would have been more appropriate. But Grady beats you to that thought by pulling a flower pot out from behind the counter and handing it to you, with a grin. You got an item, a potted nightcrawler. I thank him and leave. What is this? A potted nightcrawler. A nightcrawler in a vessel of its own food, which is also its own waste. I don't like it. Who needs that? What do I need a potted nightcrawler for? What do I need a worm for? Can it eat mushroom? Time-traveling mushroom? I'm not certain. What do worm do? You know, I'm not entirely certain what the worm does. But I do have a couple other ideas for what you can get accomplished. We can get accomplished, rather, at the start of the next episode. And until then, my name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Shadows over Loathing. Top left is a series playlist, YouTube recommendations down below, and streaming past are the names of the people so generously supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays, and are above the tank tier. And a special thanks this episode to Mr. Gibberish. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.